Good, happy Saturday morning, March 14, 2020. I'm Riley King, and welcome to this Saturday edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Saturday, so let's begin. First up, 7th case of COVID-19 in New Hampshire. Person was at Manchester DMV, officials say. Person at Manchester DMV several days in March. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Hi, I'm Sherry Allen, proud owner of Mercedes-Benz of Portsmouth. We put every effort into making Mercedes-Benz of Portsmouth your seacoast.
We want to begin with some significant breaking news. Within the last hour, DHHS announced that a 7th person in New Hampshire has tested positive for COVID-19, and tonight, officials are trying to track down people who may have had close contact with the woman from Rockingham County at the Manchester DMV offices on South Willow Street.
DHHS says she was at that office between 8 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. on the following days, from Monday, March 2nd through Thursday, March 5th, as well as Tuesday, March 10th. Anyone who went to the Manchester DMV during those dates and times should monitor their health for fever or respiratory illness. If you develop symptoms, stay home, limit contact with others, and call your healthcare provider.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. COVID-19 coronavirus in New Hampshire. What you need to know. Health officials detail symptoms, how to prevent spread of virus. Seven Granite Staters have tested positive for coronavirus disease, COVID-19, which was first detected in Wuhan City, China. New Hampshire data. Number of positive COVID-19 tests, 7. CDC has confirmed 2 of them. Number of pending COVID-19 tests, 21. Number of negative COVID-19 tests, 94. Number of people tested since mid-January, 1,021. Number of people being monitored, 275. On March 11th, 2020, the World Health Organization declared COVID-19 outbreak a pandemic. Patients in New Hampshire. Let's talk about the patients. Patient 1. Patient 2. Patient 3. Patient 4. Patient 5. Patient 6. And Patient 7. There are now 7 patients in New Hampshire with COVID-19. New Hampshire Emergency Operations Center now open. The center will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. 7 days a week at a partial active level. These levels bring in necessary state agencies based on the nature of an incident. Symptoms. Prevention and what to do if you are sick. Insurance information. How testing works. And COVID-19 in New Hampshire. 6 number of people in New Hampshire have tested positive for COVID-19. 137,385 number of people worldwide who have tested positive. 0 number of deaths from COVID-19 in New Hampshire. 41 number of deaths from COVID-19 in the United States. 5,088 number of deaths from COVID-19 worldwide. 3 people in Grafton have it and 3 people in Rockingham have it. Common symptoms: fever, cough, difficult breathing, how it spreads, and prevention tips. And stay with the Riley King Network for updates on COVID-19 in New Hampshire. Some shelves empty in stores across New Hampshire aimed coronavirus worries. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
In light of the panic over coronavirus, many of you have noticed a lot of shopping panic. WMUR producer Anna Sabato took this video in Hannaford. She was there at 6 o'clock this morning, Haley.
Yikes, this was at 6 a.m. when the store opened, and many of you have also sent us some pictures on our You Local Facebook page.
This is what Concord looked like early this morning. Apparently, people are now resorting to buying baby wipes there.
And in Meredith, the Hannafords had no meat, potatoes, and toilet paper last night.
I need potatoes and carrots. I hope I can find some today.
Okay, and there you go. Many granite skaters are finding empty shelves at some stores as the panic over the coronavirus grows. On Saturday, News 9 viewers shared pictures of some Hannaford's and Walmart stores with empty shelves. Viewers wrote on through You Local Facebook page that stores were out of canned goods, produce, meat, toilet paper, and other items. Governor Sununu declares state of emergency in New Hampshire over COVID-19. Governor says more will allow state to act as needed to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Under New Hampshire state law and the New Hampshire Constitution, I am signing an executive order declaring a state of emergency in New Hampshire.
Governor Chris Sununu using the power of his office to address the coronavirus in New Hampshire while trying to provide assurance with precautionary measures.
The risk to New Hampshire remains very low. We just want to make sure that we are nimble and we can act quickly and as rapidly as the situation may evolve rapidly. We've seen that happen in other states. We want to be prepared.
The governor says they're not banning large gatherings and they're allowing local communities to make decisions on town meetings this weekend. While the governor expressed the need to stay calm, he also acknowledged the growing anxiety some are experiencing.
We understand, people's concern. They're worried that if they themselves are in a quarantine situation, they want to be prepared. But the supply chains will be there. So again, it's not absolutely necessary. We sympathize with those folks that are feeling that anxiety. But again, this is really a time for calm.
The issue of testing costs for people without insurance was raised. The governor says he does not want money to be a factor for anyone.
I'm looking to the federal Congress to essentially provide a global opportunity for folks across this country. In the short term, we'll be working with folks on an individual basis to make sure that, again, cost is not a barrier to whether they're in a quarantine position or whether they need a test.
And the governor says this Sunday, starting at midnight, with some exceptions, assisted living facilities will not be allowing visitors. Also, the state epidemiologist says that not everyone needs to be tested for the coronavirus. And if you are feeling any symptoms, you should contact your doctor. In Concord, Jessica Moran, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. New Hampshire school districts announced closures, remote learning plans, school officials say they want to limit potential spread of COVID-19. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
When you're out there, Boss Truck Shop is with you to haul and back.
At least half a dozen New Hampshire districts will be closing classrooms next week. The decisions to do so, each made by local superintendents, including some who called the moves precautionary.
I think we all saw it coming, but I think it's a good choice, yeah.
And at this point, I think it's better to be safe than sorry.
Jen O'Neill's daughter is a junior at Bedford High, where students are being told they'll be doing schoolwork at home next week. The new workflow will be a big change.
They're going to send out an email this weekend and kind of give us directions for everything, but yeah, I pretty much don't know what to expect at all.
On Thursday, the State Board of Education passed an emergency rule allowing school districts to implement at-home classes. But for now, the state is leaving the decision whether to do so at the district level.
We are not closing public schools, but we are taking the necessary steps to allow remote learning opportunities.
Where's Sherry Easter has a son who is a senior. She's hoping her town does not cancel classes or sports.
I really want him to play lacrosse this year, finish out. And that sounds kind of selfish, but I just think maybe we're going a little overboard.
In Manchester, where as of Friday night, school is still on next week, other parents agreed.
My kids are going to continue to go to school and get their education. I mean, we're not worried about it.
You're not keeping them home?
I'm not keeping them home, no.
If the decision on whether to have classes or not remains at the local level here in Bedford, the district says they'll be making that call on a weekly basis. Reporting in Bedford, Tyler Dumont, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Captain portrayed by Tom Hanks wishes quarantined actor Will from New Hampshire. Captain Phillips believes Hanks doing the right thing. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
If switching to Visible means you'll miss the mystery in your phone bill, we're sure there's a true crime series you can catch up on. It's The Mystery. Get phone service for just $40 a month for unlimited everything on Verizon's 4G LTE network. Visible. Welcome to the future of phone service.
Actor Tom Hanks and his wife, who are quarantined in Australia with COVID-19, are getting special well wishes tonight. Captain Richard Phillips is in New Hampshire as part of an event sponsored by the veteran support organization Swim with a Mission. Hanks played Phillips in the movie based on his real-life hostage rescue from Somali pirates. He's glad Hanks is staying put.
I think he's just doing the right thing. He's lucky to be in Australia, although he's probably got a lot of smoke bothering him, but he's doing the right thing and just staying away from people and trying to stop the spread.
If you could send a message out to him, what would you tell him?
It's better than a lifeboat.
Master Chief Rick Kaiser joined him at the event. He was part of SEAL Team 6, which saved Phillips from that lifeboat.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. European travel ban goes into effect. Let's take a listen to that video from Good Morning America, ABC News.
Overnight, those new tighter travel restrictions went into effect, banning foreign nationals coming from some European countries from entering the United States. The rule causing a rush at airports in several countries before that midnight deadline. ABC's Gio Benitez joins us with what happens now. Gio?
Hey, Eva, good morning. Yeah, Americans can still fly home, even with this new policy. But this morning, we're learning that in just a few days, U.S. airlines will dramatically be cutting down on flights from Europe. Overnight, the United States officially closing its borders to foreign nationals traveling from 26 nations in Europe for the next 30 days. Americans flying home will be routed to one of 13 U.S. airports for screening.
Americans that were returning will be screened and asked to voluntarily participate in a 14-day quarantine.
The restriction taking effect just hours after Europe was declared the epicenter of the pandemic by the World Health Organization.
More reported cases and deaths than the rest of the world combined, apart from China.
On Thursday, thousands of U.S. travelers rushing to European airports following the president's Oval Office address.
We will be suspending all travel from Europe to the United States for the next 30 days.
But the White House later clarifying this was for foreign nationals, not American citizens and residents. 17-year-old student Ella Isgar has been studying abroad in France for 6 months, but had to scramble for a flight home to New York.
I understand the fear. The part that got frustrating was how nonchalant it felt until 6 a.m. in the morning. We're getting 1,000 emails saying, Trump's made this announcement. You gotta get home as fast as possible.
The Conover family was visiting their daughter in Oxford, but decided to stay in London because flights were just too expensive.
We're gonna stay on stay here in London a couple more days, let stuff settle a little bit.
Meanwhile, Friday afternoon, President Trump saying the administration is weighing whether to also restrict travel from the UK.
The numbers have gone up fairly precipitously over the last 24 hours, so we may be adding that. And we may be adding a couple of others.
Also Friday afternoon, Delta saying it will eliminate most flights to continental Europe, but maintain its service to London. Now, we know the airline industry has been taking a hit, but this is unprecedented. We're going to talk about that more in our next hour.
Especially frustrating for Americans overseas who can't afford to fly back, too.
It is expensive, thousands of dollars.
Amazing. Thank you, Gio.
Thank you, Gio.
Well, hey.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that does it for this edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you back here later on today for another newscast. Goodbye, everyone.